This was my first boat. I got that Willis. That's the two-wheel drive Willis. I had a winch, a wind-up winch. I think I ordered it from Sears. That I throw it in the back there, and I hooked it up if I got hugged. Now, if you'll notice there's an outboard. It's right on the back of the. I hung it on the tailgate, and I had 4 screws that went through this metal top on this Willis, and I put them on each, and they went down through the cab, and I put a wing nut on the inside, and I drilled it through the edge of the boat, the little rim on the boat, and it held it down. You had 4 wing nuts on the inside. It went down the road just fine. Real light aluminum. That was the whole thing. That was the whole idea. One man could pick it up and put it on top of the Jeep and fasten it down. One man. And I think it looks, I don't know if it was 10 or 12 feet. I don't know, but 3 men rode in it sometime. We sank one time. We got swamped one time. But because it was so shallow and so light. But later on in life, I got a bigger boat after I swamped a couple of times. And I got a bigger boat, and I throw this in the backyard. This was before the kayak craze. But anyway, one of my buddies came and borrowed it from me to go float a river. I think I just said, well, keep it. When he came by, he wanted to go float. No, float a creek. Yeah, he wanted to float a creek. And I said, well, fine, take it with you. So he threw it in the back of his truck. And I never saw it again. But that was a nice boat as far as easy to port and put in the water. One man could drag it. This was, like I say, this was before the craze they had with the kayak and all that. I wish I had it now, or something like it. I wish something like it, because it was a light gauge aluminum. And I had back then you could get. I think I paid $60 for the boat motor and trailer back then. And you had a motor you could get for little or nothing back then. In the early 70s. This was in the early 70s. I bought that Willis in Atlanta. And I put those tires, those mud grips on the back. I put those on there. And just regular tires was on the front. But anyway, just wanted to show this. This is really just a video. I was talking with some John boat people. After that, I went and got a bigger boat. And now it's the bigger, the better, as far as I'm concerned. But if I wanted to float a creek, that's what I would do. I would get something like this. And or a small lake, something that you could handle. But it was pretty long, I think, because we had 3 people in it at times. But you didn't want to be out on the water with any. You wanted the water to be absolutely calm when you used it. We used it a lot. But anyway, I started out with a 3 horsepower, or 3.5, or something like that I got from Western Auto. Well, anyway, just want to talk about anything else, but just talk about the old days. I'd come home. I worked in Atlanta, and of course there was a time in our little cotton mill town when things weren't so good, weren't that booming in the early 70s. So I went up there and got a job. I was a big money man. I had about $100 when when taxes were took out. I had $100 a week, and that was big money because everybody down in the cotton mill was making about 50 or 60 when their check cleared. When their taxes, and they played Uncle Sam. But I had about 110 sometime. Sometime I'd come home. Back then, gas was 25 cents. They had a gas war. I'd come home on the weekend, go fishing all weekend. I'd have $110, and I'd spend that $10 and still have $100 left when I went back to Atlanta to go to work at the factory that I was working at up there. It was a printing company. I ran a printing press for a while. Also, I had a job up there working for an very famous exterminating company. But then I missed the small town life, decided to come back and live here in this little cotton mill town. Of course, the cotton mills have moved away now, but I've been here ever since. I like a small town, country setting. But just want to talk about it a little bit this morning. Like I say, I graduated up after we sank a couple of times. We got swamped a couple of times. And I graduated up to a bigger boat. I'm not going to show you all the boats, but I'll show you. Let's see. Yeah, I graduated up to that boat, yeah. And that was the trailer. That trailer ended up, we didn't make it back with that trailer. The wheels finally came off of it. I graduated to that one, excuse me. And then I went to that one. Yeah, to that one, yeah. And I got that 25 Evinrude. And let's see. Where's the other boat? The big one we got now. So they're going to love this boat now. This big boat now. See, that's getting bigger. See how wide it takes up the hole? See how wide that is? There we are, sitting having a picnic. That's what you do on the water down here. You want to get away, have a picnic. But now there you are. See that big portly fella right there? That's the kind of boat I got now. I didn't say that, well, I'm going to get one bigger than this. And, I'm into John boats. This is not a John boat, though. It's a Progressive V. Most of it is flat, but then right up at the front, it has a progression, so you don't get the bang, bang, bang when you go down the lake. You get a relatively smooth ride, and you can still have the pull up on the pull anywhere up on the bike anywhere, not worry about scratching the boat or hurting anything. It's still out there today. To this day, that boat's still out there in the backyard. I cranked it on video the other day, and I showed it to you. We just throw a carpet in the bottom of it, and that way you don't have to worry about the rivets tearing your feet up. But that's right there is what it used to be before the code hit. These little places that weren't up to code. That was the good old days, brothers and sisters. when nobody worried about any kind of code nobody worried about any kind of code. And people didn't how they made fishing work now with all this they go out on the lake and fly up and down the lake, and they have to get in so many casts, to compete. They just made work out of it when it used to be something that people just enjoyed. But now, it's a race up and down the lake, Oh, one other thing I want to talk about was the seats in the boats. Well, I think I was ahead of my time because I got tired of those seats, everything getting in the way, and in a boat, those little swivel seats and steering wheels and everything in the way, And I thought to myself, my next boat, it's not going to have a swivel seat in it. It's going to have just flat bench, Now this boat doesn't have any cross member seats in it. I hadn't got a picture of it right here, but it doesn't have. Well, you can see right there. Yeah, it doesn't have any cross member seats. It's only got seats in the back and seats in the front and carpet all the way up, and then you can walk unimpeded. There's a picture right there. Unimpeded from the front to the back. From the front to the back. So that's the way I wanted it. And if I wanted to sit on something, I'd sit on an ice chest or something. But I didn't want any more of that. No fish finders. No electronic stuff. Except maybe a battery running light. That's the whole thing. No screws. I had so many screws in one time. Those little cleats that you tied up with. I don't even have those now. That I said to myself, I never will put another screw in a boat because of this boat. Let's see, this boat right here. I nearly the front seat. I had so many screws, where I screwed down one of those standing seats. I said, no more. If I'm too old to sit, but I don't need a rocking chair. If I'm too old to sit on a bench seat, then I don't need to be out on the water. But we're just talking about my druthers here. There's another picture of it. You can sit up on the front there. See that big, huge seat up there on the front? That is full of foam, and those two things in the back are full of foam, and the rest of it is an unwelded boat. One of the first that came out, I remember when I went to get it, they were all stacked up at the marina, and there was about four or five big, there was several boats stacked on top of it, and it was the bottom boat. They wanted to sell me one, right in the middle, They wanted to sell the top boat to me. I said, no, I want that one that's on the bottom. So they got a big crane out there and took all the other boats off and got to this bottom boat that I saw. And we got it. And but anyway, this was the first boat, and the little Willis Jeep we used to go down there on the river with, on the Chattahoochee River, the backwaters of the Chattahoochee River. But anyway, just talking and rambling today. The whole thing is fishing is not supposed to be work, and they're making it work just like they make everything else. But anyway. So anyway, I just want to tell this is more for my kids and everything than anything else. Yep. Those were the good old days when $1 was, when I could live all weekend on $10. What? I got to go. My wife's calling me. Peace and love, Miss Old Boy down in Alabama.